Hi, Andrea Roselli here at zenbombshell.com, and the title of today's video is A Very Conscious Christmas, the 50/50 Challenge. So I say conscious, I'm really into living consciously, meaning living with awareness, being aware of the choices that I'm making every moment and how I'm relating and experiencing my life. And for me, living consciously is really about being free. It's the ultimate freedom to be able to make decisions that aren't based on cultural convention or what other people think that you should do or what even you think you should do, but rather making decisions creatively based on your deepest desires for who you are and want to be and the world in which you want to live. And I define that because I think that whenever we hear the word conscious, sometimes we can think about living consciously, being a concerned and informed consumer, a responsible consumer and citizen. And taking all of that into account whenever we make a decision can sometimes feel a little bit like a burden, I think. And so I'd like to expand the definition of being conscious to incorporate the feeling of aliveness that comes when you are aware of your experience. As we become more conscious, it's not just to, make the world a better place, but in this moment, feel awake and alive and full of passion and originality and creativity. So it's not about making sacrifices for your spirit, or being a martyr, but rather aligning the type of life experience you desire with serving the world. Because ultimately, I think those two just dovetail together when you're really living true to your core and your heart. And with that in mind, a very conscious Christmas. So last night I was in bed reading this book called Half the Sky, and it explores the most pervasive human rights violation of this era, the oppression of women and girls in developing countries. And it's a very powerful book, which I highly recommend. I am still just at the beginning of it. But as I was reflecting on these horror stories of women, it occurred to me that as we approach the gift giving season, we're already there really, Black Friday and Small Business Saturday are coming up this weekend. I thought, and I'm not the first person to have thought this, but how wonderful would it be if instead of buying more stuff, using up more natural resources, a lot of times stuff that we don't even need or care about or really even like that much, how wonderful would it be if instead we donated that money to worthy causes? Because, in the developing countries, many people are surviving on an average of $2 a day. And to put it into perspective, my husband, Gabriele, and I were reviewing our financial situation and budgets last night, and we spend on average per person $7.50 a day on groceries alone. So that doesn't include housing or eating out or bills or entertainment, all of that stuff. So, we're very blessed to be living in a developed country where we have access to everything that we do. So, again, do we really need another shirt or more jewelry or what have you? There's people that really need our help and are being oppressed because they don't have resources to support themselves and feel safe. So with that in mind, my mind was working as I was reading and thinking, so what can I do? And I came up with this idea, what about reaching out to my family and seeing if they're interested in, instead of buying gifts this year, let's just donate it all to charity. And then I was also thinking that some might be reluctant because the ritual of gift giving in my family can be really wonderful. We laugh a lot, and it's very kind of warm and cozy and connected, and just something that people look forward to because it really brings us together. And so I thought, well, maybe a good middle way would be to propose donating 50% of what we would normally spend to a charity or charities that the family decides upon together, and the other 50% would be committed to purchasing gifts at local, independent, hopefully sustainably and socially conscious businesses to buy our gifts, so we can still participate in this ritual and we won't feel like we're having to give something up, but we're just also taking into account those that could maybe use the money a little more significantly. So after this video wraps up, I'm sending an email to that effect to my whole family on both sides. I have a lot of family here in Indianapolis, and we'll see how that pans out. So I encourage you to do the same. I really feel like, if we're wanting to see the world change for the better, which we all are, right? We often default to wanting to help those people or reach out to those people in need, but we often aren't reaching out to the people who are closest to us, who aren't traditionally in need. And I think that's really what's going to be the key to creating change is, reaching out to our family members, our friends, and empowering each other to live to our fullest and align with our desires and create the world in which we want to live. I mean, by confronting each other and challenging each other, that's how the most change is going to come about, not just giving to the in need because, that makes us feel good and feels like the right thing. I mean, we really need to each become empowered to find our gift and share it generously. So if you already do something along these lines with your family, I'd love to hear about it. And if you're interested in bringing the 50-50 challenge to your family, I'd love to hear about that as well. Some charities that come to mind that I think are really wonderful organizations are Charity Water, bringing clean drinking water to developing nations. Kiva.org, which is so cool because you donate money as a microloan to individuals who then use it to start their own businesses, which could be the difference between, a lifetime of poverty versus, having some financial independence and other resources. And then there's a 98% payback rate for these microloans, so you get the money back and then hopefully you just reinvest that in more individuals. It's a really wonderful idea based on a Nobel Prize winner's studies of microloans in developing countries. So that's kiva.org, kiva.org. Then there's also, you can go to halftheskymovement.com to find organizations to donate to regarding, the oppression of females across the world. And then locally, I love Indie Reads, promoting adult literacy in Indianapolis, Second Helpings, training chefs, and also using, food that otherwise wouldn't be eaten to feed the hungry of Indianapolis. And then Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. I love it's what it sounds like. So I love you. I hope that you have an excellent Thanksgiving full of delicious, locally, sustainably produced food that tastes so good you can hardly believe you're eating it. So thanks again for listening. Namaste and love to you. Bye.